Good afternoon, Mike.
Hey.
Welcome to Coffee with Grant. Mike, yeah, we're having coffee over a different subject. Normally when I meet you, it's about you, the internet boffin, the social networking guru, and you got all those tags behind you. But you're also the author. You're on to your third, I think it is, 1, 2, 3 publications. So, human-centric.
Yeah.
You tell me about it. You said at one stage, you only write unless there's a reason to write. I think it's quote unquote.
So, yeah, Grant, it's an interesting journey. So when I started writing, I always battled with this idea because I knew that my client base and the people that were in my network were expecting me to write a book about technology. And I just felt at the time I didn't have anything new to say on the topic. And so I wrote a book around my entrepreneurial journey, and then I wrote one on personal branding. And those were all things I felt like I could contribute to. But when it came to the technology conversation, I think I still felt like I was learning a lot, and still am. And you can never stop learning in this space. But what happened was that I was sitting with some of my staff, and we were sitting workshopping with a client, and someone made a comment somewhere that they just said, "Mike, we don't understand how you think." And suddenly that sort of became the project, was how to unpack the way that I move through our consultative processes and the work that we do with our clients. How do I work through those processes to just develop those solutions? And so this concept of being able to build a framework around how to build products and campaigns and marketing tools and innovative solutions that means something to people at the end of the day. That became the project, and that's what we started to write about, and that's how human-centric came about. It's something I think I'm most proud of because it's something that I believe adds something to this industry. You know, everyone's talking about fourth industrial revolution, and that whole conversation is dominated by new technologies. No one in that conversation is talking about the fact that those technologies need to mean something to people, because if they don't, they will fail. At the same time, what we've been doing is taking a lot of the philosophy that we've and process that we've developed in this book, and we've actually ended up realizing that if we want to now continue doing this work, we had to remind ourselves why we got into this business in the first place. And so DigitLab as an agency has pivoted as well into a consultative agency in this particular space of innovation, marketing, technology, communications, and HR. This concept of human centricity is pretty much what we're about, and what this book's about, and what we're about as an agency and as a business. So it's been a really exciting journey.
Okay, so your typical person who would read this book.
Yeah.
Is there a typical person?
The easiest kind of way to understand if this book's for you is there at any point in your work or your life that you need to use technology to meet people? And if you do, then this book's for you.
And from a South African point of view, we're lagging a little bit on the international scenes.
When you talk about South Africa's further behind, I don't actually agree with that. And I think the reason that we get told we're further behind is maybe less to do with the technological thinking, but more the infrastructure. Not everything that happens in first world countries is relevant to our society. If you take a look at like mobile technology, we are the leaders in that space. Mobile technology innovation comes out of Africa. It comes out of third world countries. Why? Because that's where it's needed. And that's where we have to solve those problems. But you don't get applauded for that. You get applauded for your artificial intelligence and for your VR and all of these things that don't actually show relevance in an African continent. But I do think of where we are falling behind is that we are not educating people into this space. The people that are leading this space are self-educating. Whereas what we're finding on an international level is that people are walking their ways through digital transformation, education, those kinds of things. So you can groom yourself into a career instead of fight your way into it.
Where would a person get a copy of the the publication? What is the process?
So that is everywhere. We've got it in over 80 stores across the country. So it's in exclusive books. I saw it yesterday in bargain books. So it's in all the bookstores. It's on Kindle. You can get it on Take-A-Lot. And what's been quite exciting is that people everywhere are starting to pick it up and take a read. And it's been really encouraging to kind of see the guys on social media sharing what they're doing and the commentary that's coming back. So the first 2 books are self-published. So this is the first one I've worked through a publisher with. And the reason was because I felt strongly about this message and I wanted to get it out as far as I could.
Mike, just to get into the framework of the publication and Digit Lab, how does it all come together?
I think what people need to realize is that this book is a framework. If you read this, it's going to give you a handle on how to apply this thinking into your business, your marketing plans, your HR strategies, whatever it is that you're doing. You can apply this model through. We've tested it in so many different spaces that I'm confident to say it will work inside your business. Okay, and I'm so confident on that our business itself is spearheaded by a team of thinkers that we've built called our think tank. And that think tank is driven around executing this model into our clients. So whether we're talking about social media, app integration, from marketing through to innovation or internal communications, we're building this model into that. This model works, and I can't stress enough that this isn't something I wrote because it was topical. This is something I wrote because it works in business, and I think more people should be doing it. So if you're working with me, if you're working with Digit Lab, if you're working with any one of the projects that I'm involved in, you're talking human centricity. For me, that is our message. That is, you cannot build successful businesses in the future without being human-centric. You have to find some way of understanding that really special middle point that we talk about, where people and technology meet.
So I'd recommend that everybody does get a copy of it.
No, it would be great if they did.
So,
it'll keep my publisher happy.
It'll keep everybody happy. But it is absolutely 100% topical for the way the world is, the way we are in South Africa at the moment.
Yeah.
So if you are going to read something, now's the time to read it.
Definitely,
So Mike, thank you very much for joining us on Coffee with Grant.
Yeah, thanks very much.
And best of luck with the sales.
Thanks
They're
very
going
much.
to boom in, I know.
I really hope so, yeah. Sounds good.